welcome to the Week in Review for the week ending July 8th, 2012. I'm Verna Barath, inviting you to spend the next half hour with me as we take an in-depth look at the stories that impact our daily lives. In this week's program, the opening of the 33rd Annual CARICOM Summit. Former Trinidad and Tobago Minister Kamaluddin Mohammed receives the region's highest award. Minister of Sport speaks out on Hoop for Life initiative, and SEA results are out. The Week in Review begins now. Let's take a look.
It was almost like prime ministerial stock-taking as the four CARICOM leaders who spoke vigorously critiqued some vital components of the integration process. Leading the charge was Guyana's Donald Ramutar, who called for more creative ways in minimizing the impact of economic stagnation elsewhere that could negatively affect Caribbean socio-economic agendas. He said the region must look after itself in the face of a failed Rio Plus 20 climate change conference and unleashed heavily on some West Indies cricket administrators.
Key matches are now being taken out of the region, while some of the territories are deliberately deprived. This must be a great concern to all of us. West Indies cricket is not the private property of some administrators, but it is a regional public good.
Suriname's Desi Bouterse, and outgoing chairman of CARICOM, said CARICOM must begin to operate within the framework of current global transformation.
We have to enhance the way we use to fuel each other. We have to interact with each other in such a way that we terminate the old practice of following examples.
The lone lady in the pack, Portia Simpson Miller of Jamaica, was somewhat philosophical, asking her colleague heads to honor the intent and mission of the visionaries of integration.
Now is the time. This is the hour. Let us, with unity of purpose, now move the agenda of the CARICOM forward. Let us unite and build our region. Our people deserve it. They will settle for nothing less.
And in assuming the chair, host Prime Minister Kenny Anthony petitioned for serious in-camera dialogue, the shift in market prospecting by embracing Africa, South America and emerging economies and understanding the need to positively move forward.
CARICOM is our creation, born of the dream and faith of Caribbean men and women just like us. And so, in this era, we must further this idyllic Caribbean dream and set it anew.
In response, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar said she was pleased about the overwhelming recommitment to regional integration.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, she was very clear there are good things that have come out of the CARICOM, and it is for us to continue to try to improve. We cannot just put our hands in and say, well, we haven't implemented or not enough. We need to continue to try to improve. So I was very heartened by the comments here today, and I look forward to the discussions during the rest of the sessions.
Yeah, I was, like Prime Minister, I was very pleased with what Dr. Anthony said today, because he called for a politics of engagement as opposed to the politics of protest. And that was the genesis of that discourse we had on Caribbean Convergence some time ago. So I think it's a good new beginning that we can build upon, but there are hard decisions to be made.
The 5-hour event was interspersed with a few cultural items by the Richard Ambrose dance troupe. On Thursday, the leaders will be in all-day caucus, hoping to set the tone for next year's 40th anniversary of CARICOM.
Major discussions are anticipated as the Prime Minister meets with her CARICOM counterparts in St. Lucia. Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar had announced almost 3 months ago that legislation will be brought to the Parliament to remove the British Privy Council as this country's final appellate court and be replaced with the Caribbean Court of Justice with respect to criminal matters. Speaking with journalists shortly after her arrival in St. Lucia, the Prime Minister reveals that at the top on the agenda of this meeting, therefore, are discussions on the amendment to the treaty that established the Caribbean Court of Justice.
On the agenda, we have asked to be included the whole issue of the Caribbean Court of Justice. As you know, I had indicated Trinidad and Tobago's intention to seek my colleague heads, the approval of colleague heads to amend the treaty such as it would allow Trinidad and Tobago to have partial accession to the Caribbean Court of Justice as our final court of appeal in criminal matters. I know that the legal affairs officers met in Trinidad last week, I believe, the AGs from the region. The issue was discussed there, but there was no consensus on the matter. So at the heads, again, we will raise that matter and see whether we can get agreement to so amend the treaty. So as one item that for us is important on the agenda.
Other key areas to be discussed, she says, include crime and the impact that the CLICO fiasco has had on CARICOM economies. The CARICOM single market and economy is also being identified by the Prime Minister as an area for discussion at the meeting.
There are several other important items, of course, security, personal security, national security. Those are issues that have great importance in the entire region. Trinidad and Tobago has lead responsibility. So once again, we'll be dealing with the key issues since our last meeting. I think we've met in Suriname. Last heads meeting there. Indeed, the CSME will come up again. The whole issue of CLICO is another one that will again be with us. I'm very happy to have my new Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is our former Minister of Finance, Minister Dukaran, with us as we will steer through caucuses on the matter relating to the impact on the CARICOM economies by the failure of the CL Financial Group. It has been very bad for the Eastern Caribbean, and we are hoping to find some kind of resolution to that matter.
Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar says she looks very much forward to fruitful discussions with her CARICOM counterparts.
I know we'll all put our best brains forward to try to resolve as many of the issues that we can. I look forward to meeting my sister, Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller. I understand she has already landed, so I look forward to meeting her later. There are some issues with Jamaica that we began discussions about. We would want to follow up issues relating to trade and, of course, energy from Trinidad and Tobago. Also, Barbados has some bilateral issues which we had raised on the last occasion, and we will want to continue discussions on those as well.
St. Lucia's Sports and Youth Development Minister Sean Edward, who recently entered the political arena, received Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bissessar on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia. He was also fortunate enough to have been offered a few words of advice from Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar.
Certainly stay focused, Remember why you went there in the first place. I think sometimes some politicians forget why they went there in the first place, and you would know what my mantra is. You sought this position and became involved in public life, ready to serve the people. So my advice would be keep that in focus and serve the people.
Thank you so very much, Prime Minister.
The summit opens at St. Lucia's Sandals Grand Resort, where veteran retired Trinidad and Tobago politician and former CARICOM ambassador Kamaluddin Mohammed is also expected to receive the Order of CARICOM.
Promoters, are you planning an event? If your noise is excessive, you can be shut down. Remember, music is our culture. Noise is not. To find out more, call the EMA or visit ema.co.tt.
Morning.
Pause. My public assistant check reach yet?
Oh, sorry, nothing.
Okay. Yeah, my check.
No, ma'am, nothing.
You were waiting on. Come, when me check.
Nothing today, Granny.
What you mean nothing?
Granny, you better check the office.
The office at mine, you expect me to go down and
But Granny, why are you arguing with the postman?
Because like my check loose in space.
Granny, you got your form to sign up for direct deposit. It's for senior citizens who receiving pension and those who receiving disability grant and public assistance.
Form?
Direct deposit?
Yes, with direct deposit, your money goes directly into your bank account.
Directly?
Yes, so no more checking in the mail.
Good. Come inside and show me where this farm is.
Come on, I better go down the road and tell some people down the road.
You do that.
Come on, Granny. Granny, come on. Granny!
Direct deposit. It's direct banking, direct payment. Call 800-4775 for further info. Direct deposit, making sense.
I bring a message of peace. P-E-A-C-E. It's about patriotism, environment, and citizenship education. Calling you, or youths, between the ages of 14 to 20, become a trainee in the Peace Program nationwide.
Just 6 weeks of peace training starting 9 July.
Come join us 2 days a week.
From 9 to 3.
Over the age of 18.
You want to be an instructor in this program?
Your training starts from the 25th to the 29th of June.
Interested in becoming a trainee or instructor?
You can call us at 625-2652 or 625-9557.
Or visit us online at peaceprogram2012@gov.tt.
The Peace Program.
Promoting patriotic citizenship.
An initiative of the Ministry of National Security for the 50th anniversary of Trinidad and Tobago's independence.
After more than half a century in public life, a citation that recognizes the pivotal role Kamaluddin Mohammed played in replanting the Caribbean vineyard. 30 continuous years as a government minister, the Caribbean listened on this CARICOM Day to the journey of a true West Indian integrationist who was intent on building the broken bridges of federation.
Apart from serving as acting Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Mohammed, over his 30 years in politics, was at various times Minister for Public Utilities, for West Indian Affairs, for External Affairs, for Health, and for Local Government. He also served as Ambassador to CARICOM for 3 years. Obviously, for someone to have held so many different portfolios speaks volumes regarding his capacity.
His son Alimuddin received the OCC on his behalf, expressing thanks to the community and singling out those who made it happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and the government of Trinidad and Tobago for nominating me for this prestigious honor. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. I also want to acknowledge the work that was done by our former Foreign Minister, Dr. Suraj Ratan Rambachan, and His Excellency, Mr. Edwin Carrington.
An elated Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, said, "It is long overdue."
Indeed, when I made a recommendation for this award to be given to him, it was accepted, almost unanimously by the heads.
Ambassador Mervyn Assam also showered praises on the retired veteran politician.
He has done a lot of good work, both at the local government level and at the central government level and at the regional level. And of course, he made his name when he was Minister of West Indian Affairs, and he really made a real good job of it.
This is an award in recognition of life, both public and private, for Kamal Mohammed epitomizes the characteristics of a true West Indian who has given so much to Trinbagonian and regional development.
The appearance of NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal at the Beetham Gardens launch of the Hoop of Life sporting initiative has ignited interest in the program. The Hoop of Life program is a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Sport and the Ministry of National Security to tackle crime with sport among the nation's youth. The initiative is essentially a community basketball competition with a first prize of $1 million. News 4 sat down with Minister of Sport, the Honorable Anil Roberts, to get a more in-depth view into Hoop of Life.
The Hoop of Life program with the Ministry of National Security is an extension of the Life Sport program. While this is an exciting one-off tournament, annually, what it does is create the idea of live sport in that you're getting communities together, you're competing, you're getting pride of place, you're creating a family. Back in the day, we want to go back to the good old days where there was a family feeling in the community, healthy competition, and most importantly, once the competition gets going, there's no crime. So young fellas cannot go and rob a store or get charged for fighting or assault or anything, because the entire community, the entire team would be disqualified. It's exciting. We're going to bring down people like Dr. Shaquille O'Neal to inspire the young ones, because he came from, poor background. He came from difficult circumstances. He was not the brightest kid in the junior school, but yet he did his undergraduate degree, his postgraduate degree, and he is now a doctor.
Minister Roberts says the services of more stars will be employed to motivate youth towards a positive direction. He also sought to answer the question, why basketball?
Basketball has had such a success over the years because of the ability to garner not only a professional contract in Canada, in Europe, or in the NBA. You also have colleges across the board. So it's really a way to, one, create opportunities for further education, first and foremost, and opportunities to a sustainable future for young people. Number two, in every community, there are basketball courts. There are more basketball courts in this country than any other, more than football fields, netball courts, cricket pitches. Now, some of them are dilapidated, but part of the Life Sport program and part of the Hoop of Life program is to rehabilitate and make sure that these courts are pristine, well kept, and then also to let the communities work on them so that they adopt their courts so that they wouldn't be damaged. And so basketball, because it's all inside every community, anywhere you go, you could find a basketball court.
The sports minister says the metaphorical importance of the name of the program should not be lost upon citizens. He urges parents to realize that poverty is a cycle and sport is a valid way out of that cycle.
And that's the irony. You're talking about hoop, you're talking about basketball, putting the ball into the hoop, but you're also talking about the hoop of life, because it's a vicious cycle that we exist in, because when children are born into poverty and we do not give them the opportunity to excel, and then at 10 or 11, 12 years old, we tell them that they're not intelligent because they failed an exam in math and English and creative writing. That's not good. So what we have to do with Hoop of Life and the Life Sport program is to let these kids know that they are not forgotten and they're not thrown away, and that there's a lot of potential within them. We have to find that potential and bring it out of them.
You're shopping for a house to call your home, or you've already got one of your own. Know your mortgage guidelines. Tell me terms. Tell me rate. Fees and charges. Calculate. Will it change? And on what day? Hey, what's the current mortgage market reference rate?
You need to know so much about your home mortgage. Get the Residential Mortgage Market Guideline. It's your right to know about your mortgage so you can know your way home.
I bring a message of peace. P-E-A-C-E. It's about patriotism, environment, and citizenship education, calling you or youths between the ages of 14 to 20. Become a trainee in the Peace Program nationwide.
Just 6 weeks of peace training starting 9 July.
Come join us 2 days a week.
From 9 to 3.
Over the age of 18, you want to be an instructor in this program?
Your training starts from the 25th to the 29th of June.
Interested in becoming a trainee or instructor?
You can call us at 625-2652 or 625-9557.
Or visit us online at peaceprogram2012@gov.tt.
The Peace Program.
Promoting patriotic citizenship.
an initiative of the Ministry of National Security for the 50th anniversary of Trinidad and Tobago's independence.
A freak storm which hit Point Fortin and Chatham came without any warning. Luckily, there were no injuries. Tall trees were uprooted and thousands of dollars worth of crops destroyed. Minister Ramadar Singh says the families affected will be assessed for the roof repair grant, among other government assistance grants. He adds that counseling will also be made available to the family members affected.
The Ministry of the People and Social Development, in the cases of emergency, we have a grant that we can give to help restore the roof and parts of the building. He has been already assessed for that. We will then partner with Self-Help to see what further support may be needed. Self-Help is actually on their way right now to this location. And then we also, when this happens, your entire kitchen area sometimes is affected. So we bring a little food support. In some cases now we have the emergency temporary food card where they can purchase things that they need, as opposed to we giving them a pre-packaged hamper. And also in some cases, and it's a very serious issue, they need psycho-social support, counseling.
The Social Development Minister is announcing that government will be beefing up the services of all agencies involved in disaster management. But he's also urging citizens to make the extra effort and prepare themselves for natural disasters, especially in light of the approaching hurricane season.
We want to continue to build capacity to respond to any similar activity or one that may be even more catastrophic. As you know, we are approaching the hurricane season. It's said June too soon, July stand by. August is a must. So this is the time for all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to begin thinking about your action plan in the case of disaster, hurricane, strong winds. I advocate that you go to the ODPM website, the website of the Ministry of the People. You can Google information as to what are the steps to be taken. And I'm sure that these websites will also have information. We'll continue to put out information.
Residents say that in less than 20 seconds, the forces of nature had them scampering for safety as roofs were blown off. They stood and watched sheets of galvanized toss about in the air, landing elsewhere. One resident, Mr. Shazam Mohammed, attempted to describe the traumatic event.
It's just a roaring wind for 20 seconds or less. And this, when I saw my neighbor, the roof wasn't there, so I told my daughter, check mine. She said that gone already, you know. So, and that was it. And by the time she said gone already, the wind stopped. 20 seconds or less. Damages like that. So it could happen to anybody, you know. Where I see it on TV before, I say, well, sorry for the people and them. I say, well, one day to come, I don't know who will be here. So my turn is today. Or yesterday. So thank God for everybody was alive, and you know, no damages. And thank God for the neighbors again, who really helped.
Minister Ramadar Singh is also applauding the ODPM and all agencies involved in assisting those affected by the freak storm.
We are very happy that there are no casualties and no one has been damaged. We are also very proud because all of us have been streamlining and harmonizing our emergency response team. I know that the Ministry of the People and Social Development, because of the capacity, the institutional capacity we are building, just as we got the news from the ODPM, we were able to activate our emergency response team in this area. And I know that as of early this morning, all the requisite applications for assistance, all the other services that could have been provided in collaboration with local government and ODPM were here on site. So we are very happy to see the agencies coming together, and we are very proud to play a role in coming to the assistance. As the gentleman said, Mr. Shazam Mohammed, this could happen to anybody.
It was a bittersweet moment for SEA students at Canaan Presbyterian, as although they now part ways, their last moments shared together were shared celebrating one of their classmates who placed first in the SEA examinations. The room was filled with applause when Minister of Education, Dr. the Honorable Tim Gopi Singh, who paid a surprise visit to the school, announced the name of the student who came first in the country in the SEA exam.
So it is my honor and pleasure now to indicate the name of the student who placed first in the SEA examination out of the 17,800 students. The name of the student is Rebecca Ann S. Jatan.
Canaan Presbyterian was one of 80 schools which had children placing in the top 200 students. The schools with the top results included San Fernando Muslim TML with 19 students placing in the top 200, San Fernando Muslim Ashja with 13, St. Joseph Muslim TML with 6, Princestown Presbyterian with 6 students, Montrose Government 5, and St. Peter's Private Primary 5 students as well. Minister Gopi Singh noted the overall improvement in the results this year, saying the moving of the exam from March to May just might have been a factor.
We have seen some incremental improvement in the academic performance, which is very gratifying. It substantiates the fact that a little more time for preparation would have probably contributed to this improvement to some extent. There are other factors which would have contributed, but I think since we have come into government as a People's Partnership government, I'm very relieved to see that we have obviously contributed towards improving the performance of our students in all schools. Remember, this year now 71% of our students came above 50%, which is really phenomenal.
Meanwhile, Dr. Gopi Singh reminded the children that despite their results in the examination, a positive outlook on life always makes success easier to achieve.
Remember that regardless of what happens, when it happens, or how it happens, you must always believe that success shall be yours. Success shall be yours. For whatever your mind can conceive, you can definitely achieve. So dream big, dream things big, and you will achieve big things.
And that's a look at GISL's Week in Review. Here's a reminder that you can view segments of this program on our website at news.gov.tt. I'm Vina Bharat. Thanks for joining us. Do have a great week.